dresses at home that are gently used, we'd be glad to take them. When I say kids, I mean like kindergarten to 4th grade. We'd be glad to take those dresses. And then if you would like to help out on the shopping day, the day that the girls come in with their families and pick out the dresses, we would love your help. Especially you ladies here in the church, we would love your help just with organizing the different families and showing them to dressing rooms that we've got set up. So if you would like to help with that, we would take your help, and you can sign up online, again, through the bulletin. You can also talk to Darla. Darla, wave your hand. She'd be glad to also talk to you about what Friday is going to look like. So all kinds of things you can be involved in. Hopefully you will pick and choose wisely. Let's go ahead and pray for one of our international workers. I'm going to ask Libby to do that for us. After church, we are doing communion here right now. I love Communion Sundays because it's a great opportunity for us to remember what Jesus Christ did for us on the cross. And I don't know about you, but like there is time that goes by in a given day, maybe even in a given week, where I don't think of this. And this provides a wonderful opportunity for us to not just think about it, but to also see it and to taste it, to feel the life and death and resurrection of Jesus Christ for us. All throughout the New Testament, communion is spoken of. And in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, Paul the Apostle is addressing the followers of Jesus in the church of Corinth. And in chapter 11, he turns to talking to them about communion. And to summarize, Paul basically says, you guys love Jesus and you remember him in communion, but you are not doing a good job of loving each other. And in not loving each other, you're actually bringing judgment on your head by claiming you love Jesus. So we've got to get these two things in order. If you say you love him, then you will love each other, especially on a time when we take communion. And Paul unpacks what it looks like for the Corinthians to not be loving each other. But one of the things that he does is he calls them to examine themselves. Listen to these verses as Paul talks to the church in Corinth. He says to them in verse 27, "Whoever eats the bread or drinks the cup of the Lord in an unworthy manner," in other words, while you are being abusive and unkind to brothers and sisters in Christ, whoever takes the cup or drinks the bread in an unworthy manner will be guilty concerning the body and blood of Christ. In other words, to not love your brother and sister is like crucifying Jesus all over again. So that doesn't happen, in verse 28 he says, "Let a person examine himself, and then eat the bread and drink of the cup. Because anyone who eats and drinks without discerning the body, without paying attention to your brothers and sisters, loving them, anyone who eats and drinks without discerning the body eats and drinks judgment on himself." Communion is a great time for us to remember that Christ took our judgment. The wrath that was deserved for us, he took. He bore on the cross. And so not only are we as Christians called to love him, we are called to love one another. And so before you come forward to take the elements, the bread and the blood, before you come forward to do that, I just want to encourage you to do what Paul encouraged the Corinthian church to do, to examine yourself. To just take a look at your life over the last day, week, month. Is there anything in your life, anything in your actions, thoughts, words, ways that you have treated other people, ways that you have treated yourself, your own body? Is there anything that needs to be confessed to this Jesus who loved you so much, he died for you? Is there anything that you need to give to him before you come and receive him? So in just a moment, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to encourage you just to bow your heads, examine your heart, and when you're ready, come forward, grab the elements, take them back to your seat, and just hold on to them, and we will take and eat together. Okay? Let's examine ourselves. I think passages like 1 Corinthians 11, 26 and following can be really scary for us. You know, Paul telling us to actually stop before we engage with Jesus, to examine ourselves and to take time to look within our